Well, this is the week of April 6th, so hello again. We're getting near to the end of the session, and the big news, of course, the end of last week and this week as well, is the budget. Last Friday, the Senate deliberated on the operating budget from 11 o'clock in the morning till about 5:30 that afternoon when we finally adjourned. So the operating budget is what runs state government. It runs the various departments, education, transportation, public safety, all of those kinds of things. What the Senate ended up doing was actually finding $470 million in additional savings. Additional because the House had already done their work on the budget. So at the end of the process, the operating budget has been reduced by $700 million. So that's pretty good, but remember that over $3 billion budget shortfall that we have. In fact, last week we found out that while we thought it was $3.5 billion shortfall, it's actually $3.9 billion as they did the final calculations on projections for the rest of this year on the price of oil. So we actually have even less money than we thought we had. So this is a pretty big deal. Remember, the price of our oil went from $110 a barrel down to less than $50 a barrel. So that means our income has really reduced. And just like you would do with your family, when income reduces, you have to decrease how much you're spending. Those cuts were very difficult to make. I sat on the committee, the finance subcommittee for the health department. Those were hard cuts to make. Department of Natural Resources, Environmental Conservation. These are the committees I sat on, and it's hard to cut those programs because many of them help bring in revenue. But all departments received a cut, including the administration and the legislature. And we're looking at yet more cuts. Now, this week, we're talking about the capital budget. This is money that supports projects and programs in the state, all over the state. I sat in this morning with the Senate Finance Committee, listening to public testimony from folks in Anchorage as well as the Kenai Peninsula, asking for funding for their capital projects. I know that the Senate Finance Committee will be looking at those carefully. We are looking to keep a very slim capital budget. Mostly things that are being supported with also federal money. So again, we'll be looking at that. Medicaid, we actually have a $92 million deficit in last year's Medicaid funding. So in other words, we need to find another $92 million to backfill the funding for last year's Medicaid. So as you can see, this is a tough time. It's very difficult to make these cuts. It's very difficult to think about what the priorities are for state government when citizens have been expecting quite a bit more from our state government. But we're continuing to do this hard work. This is not exactly a happy, effusive message today, but it's a very real and serious issue that we're working on very hard. So hope you're enjoying the ever-increasing warm spring weather, and I'll see you again next week. Thanks.